Alright, we're going through the basics of the settings for the fckeditor and for the IMCE editor. I've done all the settings before I started this video because we've got a 5-minute limit and otherwise I can't fit it in. Let's go to administer. We go to site building, go to modules. At the bottom of the page, make sure that fckeditor and IMCE is ticked. Save your configurations. Next thing, you go to the permissions, go down to user management and permissions. Again, make sure that with the fckeditor here all blocks are ticked. Remember, we're only giving permissions for the webmaster now, so we're not too worried about the other permissions. We'll cover that later in the course. Once you've done that, you go to site configuration, go to fckeditor, and here was an advanced role which I've deleted. You can also delete it because we're keeping it very, very simple here. The advanced role has got a good there's a good reason for it being there. We just don't need it at this moment, so let's delete it and let's work only with the default to keep it simple. Click edit. I'm going to only take you through the settings that are important. Basic setup, make sure that webmaster is ticked, make sure this is false, and make sure profile name is default. Security, we don't have to worry about it. It should be HTML filter, and it's usually that by default. Just make sure that it's there, and always run security filters on fckeditor. Visibility settings is empty. What we'll do is at a later stage we can put in pages here that should not have the fckeditor. Editor appearance, you can see it must always be enabled. This must be true. Use FCK definitely not, must be false because pop-up windows are usually blocked. With the skin, you've got a choice of default, office and silver. Let's use silver here. And toolbar, let's use the full toolbar so that we get all the features. The rest you can leave as is. Cleanup and output, you don't need to worry about too much. You should have these settings there. And CSS, which is your style sheet, you've got two options here. You've got the fckeditor default, or you've got the theme CSS. The defined CSS is not an option for us at the moment because it's gray on the side here. If we use a theme CSS, the background of the fckeditor will be gray. We want to try and avoid that. That's why we're using the fckeditor default. File browser settings, very, very important. Make sure that it's going to IMCE, which is going to be your upload manager for the fckeditor. The rest you just leave as it is and update your profile. Now let's go to IMCE. The important part to remember with IMCE is that you need to log out as webmaster and log in as UID1 because only as UID1 are you allowed to manage the IMCE. So the first thing we do, we go to default, we edit. If you're not logged in as UID, it won't let you in. Profile name is default. I made the maximum size, file size per upload. I made 0.3 megabytes, which is 300 kilobytes. Total per user 2,500 megs, which is the equivalent of your bandwidth, which is a safe bet. And I've made the maximum image resolution 750 by 600. This is quite important because if you have images that are too big, your window is going to stretch. Make sure that all these are ticked and save your configurations. Okay, now you can log out as UID1, log in back as webmaster, and then if you click on create content, click on page, you will see there is your fckeditor. Let's just test if the IMC upload works correctly. By clicking here, there's your browse server. Click on upload. Let's browse for a file quickly.